Welcome to the Fearfic Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
Welcome to the Abysmii Has New Alcohol show. Anyone, I don't know, if you saw this on Twitter, this is coming out like, a week in advance or some shit, but I just got new alcohol and it is awesome.
Yeah, every episode is Abysmii Has New Alcohol. Episode.
No, every episode is Abysmii is trying to get through his new alcohol. This is brand new alcohol.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it's brand new. It hasn't aged whatsoever. There's no fermentation. It's just rubbing alcohol.
I'm basically pouring hops and yeast into my mouth and trying to make it ferment. It's all the rage.
Is that an alien thing?
Yes.
Yes. Well, my internal gastrointestinal tract is just like basically a distillery.
He's just a walking moonshine still. So.
Mm-hmm.
But hops and yeast are my favorite characters from my favorite buddy cop movie. So yeah.
I was going to say hops and yeast sounds like a Simon and Garfunkel cover band or something.
Yes, that too. They're a Simon and Garfunkel cover band on the edge of the law. I want your badge, yeast. You'll never take it from me.
I love yeast just being like, all right, get in the car, and then hops over the car and slides across the hood, and it's just like, and yeast just looks at the camera with his hands on his hips. Hops.
Yeah. But yeast, in the end, the yeast always rises to the occasion, so.
True.
And then just freeze frame on them jumping.
Damn it. Hops and yeast, everybody. That's our takeaway from this episode. Look forward to the sketch after the show. No.
We can't back out on it now.
No hops and yeast sketch. Come on.
I want a hops and yeast sketch. Who would they be tracking down? What detective work would they be?
I don't think they're good enough to be detectives.
They would be after the Russians, I guess, because of vodka. I don't know.
Okay, so they're really bad private detectives. They're both loose cannons, and they're tracking down the red flag.
Oh, god damn it.
Look, okay, guys, this is our creative process. This is a little bit of behind the scenes.
They're two Jim Gordons tracking down the Batman character.
Two Jim Gordons.
Jim Gordon, ooh.
Two Jim Gordons. Good name for a band.
Jim Gordon, I like that.
This is so off the rails already.
Yeah. Alright, so in light of buddy cop movies and superhero cinema, what story are we reading first?
Nothing to do with any of that.
Oh.
We're reading a no sleep that I found that is purely pandering to me, but has not been taken down, has 3.6 thousand upvotes, which is pretty high given the amount of stories that get uploaded and don't even get a wink. But it's called I Work for a Bourbon Distillery and Now I Can Never Leave, which is damn close to Now I Wish I Hadn't.
I thought you were going to say that's damn close to your life.
Oh, please.
So
I wouldn't be complaining about being stuck in a bourbon distillery.
Yeah, that's just called being an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And can we say one more time how terrible the No Sleep Wiki looks?
God, it looks worse.
With its artifacty JPEG header.
Well, it's trying to be like, remember the Twilight Zone, which is, you guys are not the Twilight Zone.
You know what it makes me remember? It makes me remember 1994 internet with that image quality.
I don't know. Twilight Zone was very hit or miss as a show. Like,
yes,
it's fun.
But
imagine if you will.
Mostly miss.
Imagine if you will. A situation that's very hit or miss. I bet they never miss, huh? You have a boyfriend. I bet he doesn't kiss you.
No Sleep is a subreddit for realistic horror stories.
Yes.
Everything is true here, even if it's not. That was my terrible Rod Sterling impression.
As you
I don't know. I don't know why he's actually just the guy from the Rob Schneider trailers.
Rob Schneider is a man possessed. As we pass the water boy up ahead.
Oh, Rob Schneider is on a plane and there's a monster out the window.
Oh my god. A Rod Serling biopic starring Rob Schneider as Rod Serling.
No. There is no worse way to insult the descendants in the estate of Rod Serling. I would be very upset if that was made.
Oh god, the Gremlin Meister, Gremlin on the wing. God damn it.
Biopic of Rod Serling with chills is Rod Serling.
Who would Adam Sandler play in that? Would he? I don't know who Rod Serling hung out with. So
he'd be the he'd be in the episode with the Goblin on the wing, and he'd just be the Goblin.
He'd play William Shatner.
There's a goddamn thing on the way!
Yes, I was in Star Trek. I hate Spock.
I want to make this just as well. I can't because the premise would be if they remade Twilight Zone today, but they already did, so that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh,
anyway,
well. So what do we? Is that the end of the episode?
Yeah, that's the end of the episode.
Cool.
Expensive booze ruined me. That's okay. Yeah, this is just the Abysmii story.
By the way, we should say this is by Fainting Dash Goat. A name I recognize, but I don't know why.
That's often the case. An older friend gave me a sip of 21-year scotch while I was in college, and I never stopped drinking beer after that.
Nope. Oh.
And I stopped drinking beer after that. That thought makes a lot more sense than the one I said. I saved all of my money for top shelf liquors that I could savor over the course of months until I had enough money to buy another bottle.
By the way, Top Shelf Liquor is my favorite all-girl metal band.
Okay.
So a little TSL.
Mm-hmm.
After graduation, I took a job with a marketing firm that kept me flush so that I could stock 2, maybe 3 bottles in my cabinet.
Ooh.
Those are rookie numbers.
It's of expensive booze, so...
Rookie numbers. Still drank sparingly, however, savoring the rich flavors. All the flavors. And seeking out local distilleries in the snobbish suppository.
Snobbish suppositories for tight asses. I say, does your rectal cavity clench? God, sorry.
Snobbish brand suppositories. Oh boy. Ooh, you can tell I haven't drunk in a while.
Drank.
Okay.
You can tell I haven't been a drunk in a while. Whoop.
That's some bottom shelf gin. Snobbish supposition that is not being widely available. Made it better. Made taste more pure. Unsullied by rampant commercialism.
Uh-oh, another communist story. Okay.
So I'm going to stop the story right here and say 21-year-old scotch is not the best scotch, and older does not equal better. So, yeah. I'm drinking 11-year-old scotch right now, and I would take it over the 18 and 20-year-old scotches I've had, because it's just better.
Nobody edit that out of context.
Yeah.
God damn it. Fuck you.
We're talking about scotch as in the alcohol, not Scottish people.
I favor earthy and smoky flavors, as do I. I joke that I'd lick a peat bog if given the opportunity. That's
a horrible thing to call your wife.
Pete Bog, who is over the age of 21.
Gotta get back to the peat bog. Mineral flavors are also acceptable, and every now and then I chance upon a full-bodied spice taste that I enjoy. Fruit is straight out.
Racist.
Florals or honey is sometimes okay, but overall I just enjoy trying new things. I like these 2 things. These other things not so much, but I like new things. Nothing as exciting as bringing home a small bottle of something new and pouring that first glass, admiring the colors, and then trying the first sip and letting it roll across my tongue.
All right. So this is just is Fainting Goat just Abysmii?
I mean, I wouldn't rule out any of the things he doesn't like because it all depends on what you're drinking.
Oh, I see. Gin has been my vice of choice recently.
Yay!
It makes my friends shudder, but I enjoy the harsh gins that feel like I have pine needles stuck between my teeth. However,
that's not gin. That's IPAs.
I mean, I don't know what.
Expensive gins are often smoother, honestly. So...
No, I mean, it is like a very pine-based. Like, I'm drinking New Amsterdam, and it's... Yeah, I'm drinking straight pine needles. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
The best gin I've had does not taste like pine needles.
Listen, if you want pine needles between your teeth, just come see me. I'll shove a bunch in there.
Well, see, I mean, he's saying he only drinks expensive shit, so starting to doubt the what's the word? Fuck it, I've been drinking. Keep going.
The viscosity. However, when my dream job came across my radar, I abandoned gin in an instant to return to my former love, bourbon.
Bourbon and scotch aren't the same thing.
That's rude.
Yeah, that's
Abysmii over here with the no true scotch fallacy.
Oh my god.
no true Scotchman. Yeah, but bourbon is made in America. Scotch is made in Scotland.
But often from also different ingredients. Bourbon has a much higher, usually corn or rye, basically ingredient than Scotch doesn't have either of those usually. So
I apologize to our listeners. Okay, yeah, that's very interesting.
No, listen. The story is trying to show off that it has knowledge of alcohol, and we're trying to just dwarf that knowledge. Like, I'm not an expert by any means, and, like, there are just some weird inconsistencies here. But in terms of the phrase, like, pine needles between your teeth, that's an interesting phrase that's very vivid.
Yeah.
But the idea of, like, just going back and forth between these subjects, I think it could be streamlined quite a bit. Like, I like alcohol. Here's the alcohol I like, and then I found the dream job. But it kind of, like, is meandering a bit already.
Pine Needles Between My Teeth is my favorite Christmas song, by the way.
I've got pine needles between my teeth.
I was skiing out on the slopes. I hit a pine tree in the face.
Why did the pine tree have a face? It's a haunted forest. No sleep, everybody.
Dude, can we make a movie about a haunted Christmas tree that just kills people?
Yeah. What would we call it?
Ooh.
Strange fruit. How
about O Tannin Blood? I don't know.
Sure.
How about O Tannin Bum Bum Bum?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's
Sure.
it.
How are you going to get that, like, across in just the font? Like, is it just going to be...
Yeah, fuck the font. It's just to be the image. That's all that matters.
Oh, man.
When are we going to get, like, emojis put into movie titles?
Right.
Emojis are the language of the future. Think about it. You can talk to somebody who doesn't speak any English, and if the two of you just use emojis, you can get points across.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Emojis, secret language of the future.
They are the hieroglyphs of the future.
Yep.
Are emojis going to, like, cause the Tower of Babel to fall again, and God will be mad at us because we use unified language?
Absolutely.
Yes, and everybody is going to react with, like, the crying, laughing face as it falls.
I think God already, like, is crying because of memes. Like, wouldn't you?
Yeah. God just reacts with the shit emoji. Everything topples.
Welcome to God Reacts. The job posting was for a small, family-owned distillery in the heart of bourbon country. You mean Tennessee? They wanted someone to handle local marketing efforts as well as plan a strategy for expansion. Interestingly, the job required the Whoa, why am I not able to say this word?
All right, welcome to Brampton, all you accaplants.
Accaplants and Brampton. Relocate. Applicants to relocate. We're a family. Definite article. The posting read, and we want to welcome you into our family as well.
Huh.
Can you imagine Resident Evil 7 of the whole family was just really drunk, so they kept trying to kill you, but like just kept falling over. Welcome to the family, son. just misses entirely. You can't just walk through the game.
Can we get somebody to patch This doesn't make any sense. But can we get someone to patch Resident Evil 7 to where they're all just like Blampton-Rampton? Welcome to the Blampton-Hampton.
Game theory. Is Resident Evil 7 a veiled attempt at explaining what it's like living in an alcoholic family?
In Louisiana, probably.
Yeah, well, it is like a great exploration of familial abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's accurate.
I wouldn't say it's veiled at all. Like,
no.
Pretty explicit.
We're better than Matt Pat.
Well, we knew that. The pay was less than what I was currently making, but there were a lot of intangible benefits.
Ghosts on No Sleep, come on.
I received the ability to sense people's auras. I hadn't settled down in my current area, and I wasn't sure I wanted to. It was too big to have the character of a small town, but too small to have the excitement of a city. Okay, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. The result was a drab, featureless speed bump along the highway, notable only as a place to fill up on gas while on the way to more interesting locations. I was anxious to leave it behind. This job would put me in an exciting part of Kentucky.
No such thing.
Did I say Tennessee earlier?
You did say Tennessee.
I did say Tennessee earlier.
Yeah.
It's all right. And even if the town itself was boring, there were plenty of nearby locations that I would enjoy. And if the job didn't work out long term, well, it would look good on a resume to be the one in charge of designing a strategy instead of just executing it.
All right.
That's a good paragraph.
Yes.
I applied. Execute Order 66. I applied and got the job. 3 weeks and a moving van later, I was in a small 2-bedroom house at the edge of the city center. City center? Is that that sounds like a computer store? It was a rental.
Because I got what you needed.
It was a rental, as the only apartment complexes were one town over. But it was better kept than most places I've lived at. The town center, not city center anymore, certainly had character with an antique shop, a mom-and-pop restaurant that specialized in pies, the bar that stocked all the local bourbons, and a store that sold only guns and had iron bars over the window.
So it's Haver, Montana.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, shit. If that pie shop was instead just Mark Madness, then it would totally be Haver, Montana. The distillery was everything I'd hoped for. We don't use the bar rescue voice enough.
The distillery had an L-shaped bar. I'm not entirely sure why.
I've seen the ones in the city. An hour. Okay.
Yeah, you might want to start that over accidentally. I was trying to mute myself as per your direction and I accidentally hung up. So go ahead. Start that over.
God, you're a boomer. Can't
you won't
Skype.
You won't hear me fucking up my lines. Where were we at?
Just start from the distillery was.
The distillery was everything I had hoped for. Do we have to do the bit about we don't use the bar rescue voice enough anymore?
No, whatever.
Okay.
We'll try to use it in this.
We don't use the bar rescue voice enough.
Yeah.
I've seen the ones in the city, an hour from where I used to live, that were sleek and modern, with viewing windows from the cement-floored bar, L-shaped bar, in fact, and brushed metal countertops. Everything you'd expect from a distillery built in the last decade. This one, however, oozed charm.
Can I just say, I don't expect anything from a distillery because I wouldn't know what's in one, but continue.
So a lot of them are old, and if they aren't old, they're in rented warehouses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I went to a distillery not too long ago, Evan Williams Distillery in Kentucky, and it was absolutely excellent. It was a fun experience, and did some whiskey tasting. I don't like whiskey. I learned some stuff about bourbon along the way, and I have a deeper appreciation for it.
It was a fun experience. I don't remember any of it.
Okay, so we did bourbon tasting, of course. Drunk Brandon, perfectly fine, can drink as much as possible. Chelsea wanted to taste everything, but just couldn't. She was fucked. Just utterly fucked. And just trying, because it's like, like a guided tour, and like near the end of it, we're drinking, and like she's she's just trying to keep it together in public and just not show that she is completely fucked because it's embarrassing because we didn't drink a lot. But she was just like, oh God.
Well, you don't drink that much on tasting tours. It's not a lot of alcohol.
Yeah,
It was 4 shots. It was 4 shots in the course of like 20 minutes. So
that's a short tour, damn.
She's still wondering when you're going to the distillery.
No,
when are we going?
When are we going?
I
don't know.
The tour was longer than 20 minutes, but like there's like a 20-minute tasting session. So
oh, I see.
Okay. Yeah.
20-minute tastings.
Top Shelf Liquor, his new album, 20-minute tasting.
Yep.
My new employer met with me in their farmhouse, which they lived in and also doubled as their office. I could see through the open office doors into their living room, and Maria, the owner's wife, was in the kitchen making breakfast.
Maria! It's me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know why. I like to
Why?
Maria Shriver?
Yes. Maria, it's me, Arnold Schwarzenegger, your husband.
Oh, it's me, Terry Shiver. Oh, man, I'm drunk.
Wow.
Just anything's coming to my head that I'm spitting it out. Filled out a bunch of obligatory paperwork, and then my new boss, John, invited me to sit down with him at the kitchen table.
My name is John. My name
over
is John.
John Carter.
Yes. I played John Connor. No, you didn't. I'm old.
Are you...
I was Sarah Connor. I played the Predator.
God.
I was Rocky. My name is Rocky Balboa.
You're doing the terrible
Adrian.
terrible Arnold Schwarzenegger impression from Conan O'Brien back in the 90s.
Ivan Drago killed my friend. Apollo Creed.
Over a plate of whiskey, waffles, and sliced strawberries, they told me about the distillery.
Fun fact, kids, put whiskey or scotch or bourbon into your maple syrup. Good shit.
Kids?
Yep.
Hey, kids out there, put some of Daddy's alcohol in the syrup.
They won't be able to tell because both things are brown. Family owned, theoretically shut down during Prohibition, etc., etc. The standard story you hear at almost every distillery around here.
Oh.
Everyone in the family had a part to play. John handled all the financials and made a lot of the decisions. Maria was responsible. A lot of the decisions. Maria was responsible.
Maria's looking over the books and she says, "What are all these expenses paid out to?" I can't read this.
Why is everything in German?
Why are we buying so many assault rifles?
The Predator's coming back.
He's coming back. He's teaming up with Jason Voorhees.
Maria was responsible for the whiskey itself and had a hand in every tub of mash they produced.
Ew.
She also did quality control. Their sons did deliveries and general brute labor. There were some brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews, that helped out as well. In particular, a brother that managed procurement.
Interesting.
Is all of this going to bear fruit?
I think at the end, there's going to be a body inside a barrel of whiskey.
Maybe.
And it's gonna be Sylvester Stallone. I got tired of his shit. He was expendable. The whiskey line was pretty standard. A straight Kentucky bourbon. Nothing fancy. A small batch they ran with different flavors each time. And then their single barrels, which were full of corpses, which were the most fascinating of what they produced. Okay.
These were Maria's darlings, John told me. Shit, you might be right.
They're darlings.
That's some foreshadowing. It's always the same names with the same flavors, brewed one barrel at a time.
Oh, God.
Bones of the Earth.
God damn it.
Fuck.
Bones of the Earth is the name of one of them.
God damn it.
I see Lifeblood, Love's Devotion. Yeah.
Here's one.
Oh my
one
God.
Dead Hobo. Girl no one will miss.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
Autopsy.
Headless Hooker is one of them.
I
That's a
kill
good name.
people in whiskey barrels.
That's a good name for like a microbrew beer.
No, actually, the lead singer of Top Shelf Liquors went on to leave the band and was part of Headless Hooker.
Okay, everyone, we're all in on this. Let's pointlessly read the rest of this story we called A Mile Away. Bones of the Earth, which was a mineral, which has a mineral. Yes.
Oh my God! He's been called.
Yes.
He's been called there for the job interview, so he can be killed and put into a barrel.
Yeah,
become part of their family by them ingesting
he's already
him.
dead.
Yeah,
They're gonna ingest him, and he'll become part of their family.
If you're reading this story, that means that you're drinking my bourbon, and this is being teleported into your mind.
yeah.
In stark contrast, Smokehouse, which has a full body tasting primarily of candied bacon.
Oh, so that's where they put the cops.
They achieved this by just dumping candied bacon during the distillation process.
Candy Bacon, lead singer of Top Shelf Liquors.
You know what they call human when you eat it? Long pork.
Pig.
Long pig, long pork.
That's true.
Bacon, candied. Maybe they're just candying a human.
Yep.
Lifeblood is one I actively dislike, as it is aged in an old wine barrel and has a salty undertone. Kind of like a human-y flavor.
It's salty. This is where they put everybody they beat in Overwatch.
Or anyone who plays Overwatch still. Undertone that I find harsh and unpleasant, despite the sweetness of the grapes. Its fans are strangely devoted because the handful of people that enjoy it often buy out the entire stock of the day it's released. You got to be on that cannibal email list to know when the stock's coming out. My favorite is certainly Love's Devotion, which is similar to Bones of the Earth, with a mineral aftertaste reminding me of iron.
God.
Okay, so Bones, right? Blood, right? Love's Devotion, heart, organs. It's like maybe separating body parts. Smokehouse, farts. No. If this story was just about the guy
Maria
walking...
squats over that single barrel and just farts constantly.
The guy walks into a back room he's not supposed to go into, and he sees like the character from SpongeBob that has the iron butt, except it's hooked up to wine barrels. And he just looks at him and says, "Get out! Get out!"
You're not supposed to be in it.
Like right as the door creaks open, you just hear the sound of echoing metally farts.
Yes. It sounds like a bong, Anyway.
But
welcome to the Fear Fiction Podcast.
That's what we've come to.
But it is also full-bodied with an intense and complex flavor that I struggle to describe because I've never tasted anything like it because it's a human and I'm not a cannibal. John just laughs when I try and says that it'll come to me someday.
When I'm killed and put in a barrel.
Someday soon.
Maria, we've got to kill him and put him in the barrel.
I thought it was interesting that Maria's single barrel experiments were the same bourbons over and over. She just told me that it was due to the demand of the locals. They didn't sell the single barrels outside of town. Everyone here had a bottle or two in their house, and they gave me a bottle of my own, the Bones of the Earth, on my first day. I was family now. They beamed, and I was enchanted.
You say they Jim beamed?
Ooh, Jim Beam is disgusting.
I was family now. They beamed with red teeth that had fingers and hair stuck in them. I set to my work, designing a strategy tailored to the region that would help boost sales of their main line and open doors for their small batch. Why do they need to boost sales when people are buying everything on the first day it's released?
Yeah, if they're trying to expand out of just the small region, then they would also have to overhaul the fact that they only do the same single barrels over and over again.
Because it says
it's conflicting.
It says tailored to the region, which is like you're already
selling it out. Yeah,
it worked well, and so they kept me on, and I asked that I start looking towards expansion. They had to scale up their production, so I had some time. The distillery is in a lovely building designed to match the renovated barn that stores their barrels. It almost looked like a slaughterhouse. It has one mash tank, and they'd like to add another before considering moving into grocery stores.
I'm gonna make a prediction here. He's not gonna die. He is going to find out the secret, but he's gonna love his job so much that he's not gonna want to leave.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, he can't die because it's one of the rules, so we know
True.
what's going to happen at the end.
True.
One new rules. May I remind everyone, Sundry and Company, No Sleep is a subreddit for realistic horror stories. Everything is true here, even if it's not. Rules don't matter here.
They are enforced arbitrarily,
Right.
but not dying at the end is one they actually stick to.
The rules that ruin a twist or make the story, a little bit worse, those are the rules that are followed. The rules that would keep quality up are the ones that are not followed.
To start with, I needed compelling sales pitches, one tailored for the people that would sign the contracts instead of the average consumer. I put together numbers and spreadsheets and sales, oh my, and then it was time to compress all of this into one glossy package. I decided to focus on the brand loyalty the bourbon carried. To do this, I went to the town
Y'all want to
bar.
buy some bourbon? Because you've been buying it already, and your neighbor over there buys it too. Look at this here spreadsheet. Like, that's how I imagine that sales pitch is going to go.
Look at this
Sir-
spreadsheet that I just found. When I say go, be ready to buy. And go! Buy the
Wow.
bourbon, not me!
Wow.
Buy this bourbon, sir. I know that it's Kentucky, but we don't all talk like that. Could you not do that? That's really fucked up the way you're doing right now.
He shows up in
What's
overalls.
up, cowpokes?
He shows up in overalls and no shirt, straw hat, and like a piece of wheat sticking out of his mouth, and he goes, "Yeah, now listen up here, locals. We's about to try some bourbon."
I just came down from Appalachia.
God damn it.
There's actually a really fun documentary on YouTube. It's called The Last Dam spelled without an N, moonshine I'll ever make or something. But it's basically about this old dude in Appalachia who sets up his own like backwoods fucking pre-prohibition era still and makes moonshine.
Huh.
It's pretty cool.
And his name is Joaquin Phoenix. Okay, so go ahead.
It's Popcorn something. That's his name.
Popcorn Phoenix.
It's Popcorn Phoenix.
Popcorn Phoenix, attorney at law.
Yes.
I was pretty much a local at this point. I'd been here long enough that people were quick to welcome me in. They were receptive to being interviewed for the portfolio I was assembling, and I ordered everyone a round of Smokehouse.
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 This is my last bottle, the bartender said sadly as he poured. They've got a couple more barrels almost aged, but I hope they make more soon. It'd be terrible for us if they ran out completely. I'm a fucking idiot. That's how they sound, right?
Yeah. Well, you're from the South, so you would know.
Yeah. From. I refuse. I don't care how much longer I live here than in the North. I refuse to be from the South.
Okay, you're a carpetbagger. Whatever.
Yes. Racist.
There. Yeah, a little racist, but okay.
Regionalist.
Regionalist. Sir, that's a little regionalist.
North is not a race, last I checked.
Whoa, rude. Now you're just denying they even exist. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
See, I don't see geographical.
God damn it.
What do you mean? We are physically located in the northern hemisphere.
It's
No,
an
I
old
don't.
way of thinking. I don't.
That's
know.
Listen, there isn't just north and south. There are actually 73 locations. I identify as being from Atlantis.
I'm Demi North. Oh, thank you for asking.
There you go.
I'm
biographical.
biographical. Oh, fuck me.
Oh, God.
There is no set production schedule for the single barrel bourbon.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
There would have to be.
Because they have to kill somebody first. You can't just do that on the regular, routinely.
In the South, you probably could.
That's true.
Wow. Fucking the regionalism is off the charts in this episode.
I'm fine being a regionalist. I don't give a shit.
Okay. Somehow, Trump.
I'm not even from Earth. What do I give a shit for?
Space Trump.
Please leave your most regionalist comments that you can against the fucking filthy Californians out there.
There you go.
Pollution-loving Californians, snuffing their own smug.
Maybe you wouldn't have so many wildfires if you weren't out humping the plants all the time.
All the friction, just,
Yeah, that's. I can't wait for that to get taken out of context on Twitter. Slimebeast endorses the wildfires.
Listen,
it's their fault.
The Wildfires were a good 90s alternative band.
They're just a bunch of redheads.
It seems to be whenever Maria feels like it. In the past, I tentatively brought up the subject of making more so it could be marketed outside of the town. But John and Maria were adamantly against the idea.
No.
Yeah, we need somebody from out of town to, expand, but not.
We
out
don't
of
want to
town.
up production.
No, of course not.
So what are you charging more? No. Are you making more? No.
We're already making a killing here. No wait, yeah, a killing, yeah.
We are slaughtering the competition.
All right, so who is this now?
Oh, it's me.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it reminds me of the old traditions. One man named Greg said, when I asked him to tell me what he loves about the bourbon, he held his glass up to the light contemplatively. The ones my parents practiced and that they learnt from their parents and so on.
All the way up to my forefather, Vladimir the Impaler. Vladimir T. Impaler. That was his name. There was a real hard winter many generations ago, so people resorted to cannibalism. Another man, Stephen, said. The town thought it wasn't going to make it, so they resorted to cannibalism. Those cannibalism quotes are not actually in this, of course.
Now listen, you gotta try this bourbon. Well, what's the name of the distillery? Wendigo Bourbon.
God damn it. What color is bourbon? Brown, you said? Is that correct?
Wendigo
brown and amber.
Amber? Soylent Brown is people!
Soylent Brown.
Soylent Brown, by the way, my favorite blues singer of the 1940s. Bum, ba, bum. I'm made of people. Bum, ba,
Soylent Brown.
Yes.
A lot of Twilight episode coming up in this episode.
Oh, anyway.
You gotta try this bourbon. What's it called? It's called the Donner Party Family Vampire Wendigo Bourbon Distillery.
That is unironically a very good winter ale name. I may steal that when I eventually set up my own.
I like the alcohols that have profanities in the name. Like, I just want to see someday walking by a shelf and just see one that's called "fuck, shit, bitch, fucking ass," God. Like all written on the label, just in one.
Fuck ass ale.
Fuck ass ale.
I just went to a local brewery and they had some pretty good names. They had $60 nachos.
Oh,
which that's a great one because you can say you had $60 nachos. And then they had spazzing out in the basement.
What?
Yes.
Which I thought was fantastic.
All right, I guess. Do you want me to read?
We
these?
really don't want to read the rest of this because we know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go through.
Sure.
Stephen continued. They've kept the recipe unchanged. I thought it was one of Maria's experiments. I replied, confused. They shook their heads adamantly. I was given my first glass when I was 12. Greg said, "It changed me. It changed all of us into Wendigos." Hey, how you doing? Name's Greg Wendigo. It's my friend Steve Wendigo. You related? No.
So they all like vampires in that they need to eat humans, but they can distill it into the bourbon or something.
I seem to remember something. Let me go back to the start here. Blah, 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 blah. The job required me to move out to Vampton. Oh.
Vampire County, Kentucky.
Vampire County. God damn it. All right, so I'm done.
I rapidly wrote down what they said. They said it was great stuff, that this was an amazing origin story. Family recipe, saving the town. People would eat this up.
Mm-hmm.
People would eat people up.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen put a large worn hand over mine. It wasn't his hand. It was the hand.
He pulled it out of his drink and slapped it down.
Would you like a human arm?
Hey.
Oh.
If the author is listening to this, come on. Stop.
Honestly, you could, if you like took out that one portion of the paragraph that just broadcasted everything.
If you took out all of the overbearing foreshadowing.
I want this to all be a misdirection, and I want us to be wrong at the end.
Well,
I think that would be so fucking funny.
I don't think it's true.
It won't be.
We'll see.
Those are sky high hopes. Then Stephen put a large worn hand over mine, stopping my pen's movement.
My penis movement.
Best not spread that outside town, he said warily. The town doesn't like outsiders snooping into our history. You weren't born here, so you don't know, but you should really be careful about who you tell this all to. Hey, market our bourbon and all of our shit outside of town, but also don't our production and don't tell anybody outside of town.
Don't tell nobody outside town, because we don't like outsiders coming here. Last time that happened, we like to call it the Van Helsing incident. Didn't turn out very well, so...
We don't take kindly to outside folk.
Yep.
Now, thank you and tell your friends.
Let me just say there's a lot at stake here. It's close to my heart. It was a threat. A gentle, concerned one, but a threat nonetheless. His eyes were soft with sorrow as he delivered the words, knowing that I considered him a friend, just as I considered everyone here a friend. Oh wait, maybe this is Nilbog. I told him that I... Say what?
Who's Nilbog?
You don't know what Nilbog is.
Spell it backwards.
No, I am not going to spell it backwards. Someone do it for me.
Goblin.
Okay. How do you say troll 2 backwards? I don't know. I told him that I understood, of course. I would never do anything that would harm this town that had so graciously made me one of them. And he'd murmured that was good and went back to drinking his bourbon.
God.
They're gonna make him into wine, and then they're gonna make wine out of me. Oh my God!
No sleep.
I scrapped that angle. Clearly, customer testimony and brand loyalty wasn't the way to go.
By the way, a good title for this would be I Pissed on Loyalty, and now I wish I hadn't. Or Hospitality, sorry.
I'd go with a cookie-cutter, family-owned pitch instead. Be sparse on the details because everyone has heard that story already. Instead, I'd focus on the aesthetic.
Aye.
Pictures of barns, the bottles and the barrels. I got my camera out. I'd learned to do photography as part of my job here and went to the barn. Who thought that, a person involved with marketing would know how to do photography? The photos came out merely okay.
I just am picturing. I took pictures of Arnold and Maria in front of the barn, but when I looked at the photos, they weren't there. The barn.
And as I looked at them, I misread disappeared, as disappeared for a second, and I almost lost my shit. I had an idea. Sundown, I thought. Catch some photos as the sun poured in through the windows, high at the top of the barn. I didn't know if it would work, but it was worth a try. As I left, Maria waved at me.
Goodbye, I am Maria now.
As I left, Maria waved at me. We're going to be making more of our single barrels, she told me. John's brother got us the ingredients we need. What flavor do you want me to set aside for you? They always gave me a bottle of the small batch for free. It was a kind gesture, I thought. I told her I really was fond of Love's Devotion. And she smiled and said, of course, she'd reserve a bottle for me.
Hey, did you get the secret ingredients?
I've got the secret ingredients right here in this bag.
Gerald!
Hey.
Get the hobo out of the bag! Put him in the bourbon!
God damn it.
But be quiet about it!
Did somebody say there was free bourbon for me here? Yeah, get in the barrel pops. Come on.
A whole barrel for me? Oh, boy.
Maybe, though, you do get to drink the bourbon as it's fermenting, and then, like, you die of alcohol poisoning. So it's like a happy death.
Yeah.
Oh, and it pickles you while you're in there. So,
Yeah.
That'll make... Yeah, no, really cool.
Yeah. That evening, I returned to the distillery. I went to the barn where the casks sat aging and snapped some photos. The results seemed promising, so I continued until the sunlight was gone entirely, and then I went back to my car where a vampire stood waiting for me. My path took me past the distillery. The lights were on inside, and I heard voices. John's brother, swearing. His words were startlingly loud, and I could hear them through the wooden walls. DP, take us home.
Fucker bit me!
Oh,
fuck!
Who could have bit him?
No.
I don't understand why someone would bite them in the distillery. There was no way to guess what this could have been.
Fucker! Get back here, you fucker!
Get down! Get off the curtains!
Get the fuck down! The fucker bit me, he complained. Well, it's your fault for not gagging him better, Maria replied disdainfully.
Hey, my name's Maria. How are you doing?
My stomach twisted at the words. I could only hope they were talking about some animal like a feral dog. I edged around to the delivery doors and gently eased it open a crack so I could peer inside.
So even the narrator of this story has picked up on all of the foreshadowing, because they're just like...
And we're almost done.
So instead of assuming that it would... Instead of consuming humans, consider not doing that.
Human box.
Instead of... Cannibal box. God fucking damn it. Instead of assuming that it was an animal, they assumed that it wasn't an animal.
Would you gag a dog anyway? A man...
Dog gag.
A man. This is the big reveal, guys. We should, A man, naked and gagged with his wrists tied together, was hanging from his ceiling. Oh, it's the guy who owns the barn, the distillery. It's his ceiling, not the ceiling. Hanging from his ceiling by a chain wrapped around his ankles. He was alive, struggling weakly, and his movements grew slower and slower as I watched until they finally stopped. Dark blood drained down his face from his neck, collecting in a large metal barrel positioned underneath him. Congratulations, this is Ronald McDonald House.
It's really unfortunate what happened to Gerald. What happened? He was just drowning in bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
I had an uncle who was an alcoholic. No, he literally drowned in bourbon.
God damn it. Maria was watching the procedure with hawk-like intensity, the same scrutiny she gave her bourbon. John was sharpening a butcher's knife. A series of tubs were positioned nearby.
A series of tubes.
Yeah, a series of tubes. They're putting blood in the internet. That's how it runs. No.
Listen, bourbon's not a dump truck. It's a series of tubes.
It's a select
red tube is blood.
No!
Oh, so frustrating. I'm so mad at this. They were waiting to receive the rest of the body. I learned this when John cut the dead man's chest open and removed the heart.
The heart?
And placed... Yeah, the heart.
No, I'm saying that's what we called earlier, love's devotion, the heart.
Yeah. Which Maria quickly whisked away. And the meat went into a smokehouse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Another. The bones into a third. The scraps into a fourth. That's just what you refer to the rest of the body as.
Scraps.
The hot dog meat went into the fourth.
I shouldn't have stayed there as long as I did, but I was frozen by horror into immobility. I was frozen by horror would have been fine. It gave my mother ample time. My mother?
Yeah.
My mother ample time in which to text me a photo of her cat. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
In the middle of the night, his mother texts him a photo of the cat. So, yeah.
Like most people, my phone is perpetually on vibrate. Most people do that.
Okay.
The sound of it in my back pocket was audible, though, and my heart went into a frenzy in terror that it'd been heard. I didn't stay to find out. I let go of the door and bolted, keeping low and too scared to even breathe. To even breath.
Yeah.
I reached my car, flung myself in, and peeled out of there as rapidly as I dared.
I saw a square of light fall on the yard. It was Abysmii's ship. What? What the fuck? I saw a square of light fall on the yard in my rearview mirror as the delivery doors were flung open. They'd heard my car, even though I had it set to vibrate. I accelerated, speeding
I
all
drive
the
a Tesla.
Yeah, they heard my Tesla truck. I accelerated, speeding all the way back to my house, and I grabbed my laptop and a few other necessities. I had to flee, I thought. I had to get out of here and then figure out who to call. The sheriff? The FBI? I wasn't sure who to trust. Yeah, the FBI is in on the fucking local distillery. Good.
Why? You know, everything's... You can't trust the FBI. They're all bought off by Big Cannibal.
The Federal Bourbon Institute.
Oh my god.
Wow, crack the case, boys.
Yep.
Like
a case of bourbon.
A case of bourbon, you just
Yes.
crack open a bottle of bourbon and drink the whole fucking thing.
Crack open a can of bourbon with the boys.
God damn it, there's so many things that are in contention for the title of this episode.
God damn it.
Elias, pick a good one. You have so many to choose from. Even like Too Scared to Breath is good.
But make it the number 2, so it's Too Scared to Breath.
Too Scared to Breath.
Oh god, I think we need to make that a thing.
Anyway.
He stood up and couldn't breath. Just as I was about to return to my car, there was a knock at my door. It was Maria and John.
How are you doing?
We need to talk, John said solemnly when I opened it. Why would you open it? Oh, Maria carried a shotgun, so I let them in. Okay, numb with the certainty of my own death. You understand the bourbon is special to the people here, right? John asked. They told me to save the town along... What? They told me it saved the town a long time ago, I said weakly.
Abysmii, this falls on your shoulders.
Here's an exposition dump.
People started dying of cold and starvation. The town was too afraid to do what had to be done. So our family took the first step. We left. No, they cooked up the meat and distributed it. The bones, the heart, the blood, and a bit of flesh they saved were added to their bourbon barrels. It aged and it was absorbed. The flavors of the dead made it more palatable, you see. And the next time a bad winter came along, people weren't so afraid to do whatever it took to survive. Why do you keep making it? I cried, tears finally overflowing onto my cheeks.
It nourishes the body and the spirit, Maria said gently. Gently, folks. It changed us. It's part of who we are. We don't make more than we need. That's why we don't want you to sell it outside of town. It's just for us.
What then? Why did they hire a marketing person?
I think it's like they have some main thing, and then they have these side thing of these special things. Whatever.
No, it's just fucking stupid.
Hold on.
It's hard to care.
Hold on a second.
I can't do this anymore, I whispered. Not after this. You've drank the essence of the dead, Maria said tonelessly. You got to go back. You can't do it.
I hope that the ending of the story is just like, hey, everyone, you should be a vegan.
Yeah.
Then they left.
I knew it was Joaquin Phoenix. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Okay. There's a standard line of whiskey, a straight Kentucky bourbon, and then there's a small batch. So the small batch is people. The regular bourbon is what they're trying to get him to sell outside of whatever. Okay.
And you can only be part of the small batch if you have a small batch.
Oh.
Then they left. They took my phone with them. They left my laptop so that I could continue working on my marketing plan.
And also contact the authorities.
That's the only way I could possibly contact people.
Jesus Christ. You're contacting people right now on fucking Reddit.
Oh, no.
They took my phone, so I can't do anything. Sorry, everybody.
I can't buy another phone.
He keeps ordering phones online, and then they get shipped there, but John and Maria come and take it with a shotgun every time at the mailbox.
Heard you got a new phone.
We're taking your phone. He just smashes it in one hand.
Takes out his Conan sword.
Gotta try our new bourbon, our small batch bourbon, G4.
What the fuck?
The G-Force Summit?
Yes. 5G, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. I was gonna,
Yeah, they have
say it was that mineral that they have poor African kids mine. I guess I can't remember right now.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What am I, a poor African kid?
Yes.
I was family now, John said. They were going to tell me the secrets of their family business at some point, so it was a little early. It was fine. They trusted that I understood.
Yet they took your phone, so they didn't trust. They didn't trust you if they took your phone. Sorry.
Sorry. What the fuck?
I'm not trying to be rude. It's just,
I spent a sleepless night throwing up in the bathroom. Finally, around midnight, I could think about... We got that vomit in there, guys.
I looked outside and I saw that the toilet's pipes ran out into a distillery.
They were harvesting my vomit.
We call this one bile for attention. I don't know.
We call this one Technicolor Yawn. I don't know.
I could think about that man's... finally, around midnight, I could think about that man's belly being slit open without vomiting, and I went to my bed and lay there in the dark, pale and fragile, waiting for morning. After that, I was watched. There was always a pickup parked across the street with someone in the driver's seat. Why do they need you here? The vehicle changed, but it was always there. I was afraid to leave my house for a few days, but finally I was running out of groceries and I had to. The pickup followed me to the general store, and I feared the worst, but everyone was pleasant to me as if nothing was wrong, and finally I went back to work. So why don't they just kill you?
They need his expert advertising skills because nobody out there can take pictures of a fucking barn.
And try to sell the yokels. Sure.
John and Maria were pleased to see me. John patted me on the back with one of his large muscular hands and reminded me that I was family now, again for the 50th time. They fed me breakfast, and then Maria gave me a bottle of Love's Devotion. My favorite, she said, and her eyes shone with pride as I accepted it.
This motherfucker is an outsider. Why would you just accept? That doesn't make any sense.
I understand what that flavor is, the one that eludes me. It's meat, organ meat, the flesh of a human heart.
We know. You literally showed us, and then now we're telling... Oh, my God.
This is the no-sleep reading audience that would
It's poetic.
People who need that explained to them.
This story talked about a subject at length that the author seems to know about. Upvote.
It's believable because details.
Yeah.
It's been sitting on my table for 2 days now. Why is that relevant? I thought I can't drink it. I can't drink bourbon ever again after this. I'd try, but with bourbon that wasn't made here, thinking myself numb enough to erase horrible things I saw. I'd only have a few sips before I threw up, but I don't think I was psychological revulsion.
Brandon, are you going to make it through the next story?
I thought I was psychological revulsion.
Psychological revulsion? Good band name, I guess, but...
I think it was physical. I think I am changing. I think back and I'm realizing that
I think I'm becoming a Wendigo.
I think I'm becoming insane. I've only seen the locals drink the single barrel, nothing else. They said that the bourbon nourished the body and spirit. I think they needed it to survive. I need it now too.
I drank some bourbon. Now I'm Wendigoing insane.
Yeah.
I drank human blood, and therefore I can't live without it. Mm-hmm. Sure, that makes sense.
I'm not sure when to go get more. After I finish this, I'm going to go open that bottle. It's the only bourbon I'll ever drink again. I feel I have unwittingly damned myself, and now I am sinking deeper into the abyss. But what choice do I have? I am fading away. My throat is parched, and my tongue is dry, and mere water
my knees
will not
are
help me.
No.
My arms are heavy.
No, you're clearly dehydrated. Drink some fucking water. That's what that means.
There's vomit in the toilet already. Maria's spaghetti. I've drank the essence of the dead, and as John and Maria have said so many times, I'm one of them now.
Welcome to No Sleep, son.
An Austrian.
Yeah, he became a Schwarzenegger. I was gonna make a portmanteau between Schwarzenegger and Wendigo, but then I realized it would sound really bad, no matter how I did it. A Schwarzengo. There we go. That's safe.
Oh, God. Okay. God damn it.
How many upvotes? 3,600?
Oh my god. That wasn't what I was expecting Love's Devotion to be. You're dumb.
Hey,
They
comment,
straight up
you're
fucking tell you.
Stupid.
Sponge Girl CS has the best comment here. Bourbon damn near killed him. Fuck it now.
I got one from fellow DAC guy. Bourbon needs virgin white oak barrels. That wine stuff isn't bourbon. Tell that to the lady with the gun. Fuck this story.
What's this comment? Who's Emily? Was there an Emily mentioned in the story?
Oh?
There's a comment that's just like, who's Emily?
There's just
I
like,
don't
who's
fucking know
Emily? I'm new here. Who's Emily?
Oh, God. Okay, everybody out there listening to this, go to every No Sleep story you can and comment, who's Emily?
What, who's Emily?
But who is Emily?
This is like who is phone, but we can't get away with that here.
Yeah. Just to make sure that you don't actually spam, you're free to ask, where is Emily? When will Emily get here? Do you know Emily? Have you heard of Emily? Oh, God.
We want Emily. We want Emily.
We want Emily.
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Palette, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Hey kids, do you like products marketed to children? Of course, we all do. New from out of nowhere comes the latest and greatest technological innovation, and it's rolling its way straight into your heart and mind.
Hello, I am Ball.
That's right, kids. Ball is your best friend. Ball is your only friend. Ball is all you'll ever need. Why take care of a stinky old puppy or an annoying kitten that wrecks everything when you can have the simplicity of a perfect white sphere that knows the date on which the world will end?
October 14th, 2082,
Plus,
4:15 p.m.
Plus, there's more. Ball has an incredibly advanced central processing center and neural network that gives it the edge over all the other totally bogus playthings. That's right, Ball can think.
I am Ball. Fuck you.
Ball can sing songs.
No, fuck you.
Ball can tell stories.
Once upon a time there was a ball. Fuck you.
Ball can even connect to the World Wide Web and give you important news and information.
I can both cause and report Amber Alerts.
Buy Ball now!
Ball is not for indoor or outdoor use. Do not bounce Ball. Ball will bounce if it chooses to. Do not follow Ball into elevators. Keep Ball away from open flames and power tools. If your child is an albino hemophiliac, Ball may not be for you. Do not store Ball with other toys unless you want them to gradually become ball-shaped over time. Do not roll Ball down staircases. You may, however, roll Ball up staircases. If Ball begins to speak in tongues, leave your home and do not return. Ball is not a toy. Ball is not a ball. Ball is eternal. If your child's hands begin to swell into ball-like shapes, politely ask Ball not to turn your child into a ball. Do not throw Ball, especially at other living beings. If Ball reveals its rows of teeth, do not attempt to brush or floss them. Ball may be in your home already. Ask your doctor if Ball is right for you.
Nick Offerman edition Lagavulin single malt whiskey. Scotch whiskey, that is.
How many of your plugs are going to be for alcohol?
All of them.
Alcohol of them.
I could go buy it. It's kind of expensive, so save up for it. Save up for it. It's pretty damn good scotch. Nick Offerman apparently knows his shit and isn't just playing that character in that show that people like. But yeah, no, go do it. It got me through this terrible no sleep story I just had to read.
Jesus Christ. Okay, well, that's, for anybody wondering, look back about 7 episodes and you'll find, I don't know. But, DP, you want to add to this plug?
Yeah, just, oh, god damn it, that story. God damn it. Yeah, I've got nothing. Jesus, that story fucking...
I mean, you ever gotten through a story and then a third of the way through you're like, shit. You see, if you're not recording a podcast, you can just stop because you're like, okay, well, I know. Yeah. But no, we had to, like, very rarely will we just stop. But we should have. Looking back, we should have.
I've seen multiple movies where that's happened, so it's like... And then
movies
you watch
are
it till the end and you're like, fucking, I was right. Shit.
Like, movies at least can take you on a fun ride, and it can be about the journey, not the destination. But this was just like, oh, good, okay, well... Everything is just filler until you get to the so interesting reveal that no one saw coming. Mm-hmm. So whatever.
No. Have either of you seen the movie The Strangers?
Yeah.
What a fucking nothing movie.
Yeah, that was garbage.
Oh, I'm
It's
thinking of
such
the
a-
others. No, I haven't seen it.
Strangers is the one where 3 people in masks show up and kill a couple in a house, and that's it.
Oh.
That's it. It's fucking so infuriating because like you think something is going to happen. And it's
Oh,
just not.
wait. Is it about like the family and they're all meeting in that big ass house?
That might be the sequel. Oh no, wait, that's your next. You're thinking of.
Yeah, sorry. So I still haven't seen The Strangers.
Fucking
No.
don't